found the first few days in Leon?
Yeah, it's a bit hotter than down south where I'm from, but enjoying the weather. Good to get out and about and enjoy the beautiful city.
What is it, as a pack, what's got to be your key messages following the Twickenham defeat, and where do you need to improve, do you think, in France?
Yeah, obviously, our last game we played, we got dominated in around the set piece, and you could say it was down to discipline, and but yeah, we've just been working on tidying up a few things around our set piece, and yeah. Yeah, a bit of friendly fire. Yeah.
Ofa, in your experience, what's different about these occasions, about World Cups, openers against the host nation? What's different about these occasions?
Yeah, we spoke about World Cups all the time. It's a different level of intensity. Tests teams, not just physically but more so mentally. I think it's probably the longest competition for an international. I'm not sure about the Six Nations, but for us, obviously there's a break in between the pool games, but it's a longer competition than Rugby Championship, and obviously the style like a series. But it's a cycle, and every country, it's kind of what they prepare for. So right now it's kind of the end, of the road where everyone prepares to peak at this time of the cycle. And Rugby World Cup is different, and it's in a different level. You got to be on, because especially this one, anyone or the best team on the day could win. So we're looking forward to what's ahead.
How much do you think you've grown as a player, as a person, since the last World Cup?
As a player, as a person, since the last World Cup, obviously, not the results we wanted in Japan 2019. We had a great team. We're lucky enough to still have some of the experienced players we had in 2019. But for me, obviously with time as a rugby player, you get to evolve. Experience, the more you play, the more you're around, you get better. I think I'm probably in a better position this time than 2019 in terms of experience and the amount of games. I'm just looking forward to this one, to the World Cup, to this one, and giving everything for the team, especially the players. We've got a few players that are definitely moving on after this one. We don't talk about that too much yet, but the few management, I'd love to give everything, hopefully get the trophy for them.
Question for both of you, to help the wider audience to understand the front row battle. It's always we feel South African are very tough in front row, French too. What are the difference? What are the different challenges between South African and French? Is it just tough or different?
I think it kind of relates to what I said before. The best team on the day wins. How the game is played can determine a lot of that. The results, obviously, if you're dominating up front, you're doing everything right, versus you're making errors, you're not going forward. I think that can determine a lot of the results in a game. So at Twickenham, look, we're down a man. We're man down. Africa were dominating up front, and we're under a lot of pressure. In terms of the French, it's going to be very similar. They've got a big pack, obviously known for scrummaging, line out, mauling. That's what they love, and so do we. And it comes down to the day. The teams that prepare the best, that are executing their game plan, making the least errors, I suppose, things will fall into place, and they'll win.
But technically? Do they have a different style of putting pressure on your bowlers?
Look, we are.
I think the one little difference between obviously big packs going against each other. I think the French probably lean a bit more than the South Africans do. They got their whole back five coming off. No one's really holding any weight, so we'll be prepared for that. And that's probably the one big difference between the French and South Africans. More lean.
Ethan, I don't think you've played French. How do you go about preparing your individual matches? Do you have as much information about
Yep. I think it just comes down to reviewing, previewing teams, talking to the guys that have scrummed before, getting around, just the leaders in the team that have come up against the French in France. So, plenty of homework's gone on this week, and ready to put our plan into place.
So do you kind of relish the chance to test yourself against a pack that does have such a high reputation for Belgium?
Yeah, 100%. It's always good to test yourself against good players, and I'm looking forward to ripping in.
You followed the Southern boys.
Yeah, how good.
You enjoying that?
Yeah, stoked for them. Real proud of that effort. I went to top 4 when I was at school for Southern boys, and we went up against those Auckland teams and got pumped, and to see those guys go up there and win it all, extremely proud, and up the royal blue.
you found anything beyond the matches that grow crowd?
No, not quite.
I was speaking to Ihai recently, talking about Antonio. You described him as the king of La Rochelle. He's like almost a rock star. Do you think France has got it right that props are the stars of the game, and that maybe New Zealand needs to follow suit, pay respect for the boys up front?
It's different here than obviously back home. Props are up there, and we get the love from the crowd, from the people here as well. But Ihaya, he's up there as well. Tell him that.
Scott kind of said before you guys came in that it's felt like quite a long build up, to the point without feeling like the coaches kind of had to hold some of the guys back a bit, just rein in the excitement so you don't wear yourselves out ahead of the test. Does that apply to either of you two?
We've had obviously a big build up the time we've spent in Germany, so I think it almost feels like we're a day ahead of ourselves or 2 days ahead, so there's a bit of slowdown and don't go too hard, but we're building through the week nicely, and come Friday we'll be at our peak.
Feel pretty ready to get on the train to Paris
Yeah,
now?
we'll get through our big training session, and then we'll be ready after that.
Ethan, what kind of occasion do you expect on Friday night? Is the World Cup day, there was something you had in mind, a couple of years ago when you were first called into this sort of thing?
Obviously I'm prepared it's going to be extremely vocal, and it's going to be extremely loud, so but you said 2 years ago, no, I wouldn't have probably thought I'd be here, but I'm just extremely grateful, stoked to be playing in my first World Cup, so I'm expecting big things, and I'm expecting to have a great game.
Is there anything you guys can do to front row you to lift Tyro's spirits? It's going pretty tight.
He'll be right. Lowry's going to be fine. He's obviously got a big cut on his leg, and it's healing pretty quick, so he's not down in the dumps too much, but I'm sure he'll be back pretty soon.
Cool, thanks team.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Hold your phone.
Yeah.
Getting an update on Geordie, how's he responded to treatment?
Yeah, he's responded well, improved from yesterday. However, we haven't, checked him in any physical form. We'll leave that till tomorrow.
Is there any sense either way, optimistic, pessimistic about his chances for Friday?
Well, it's hard to tell today. Like he's had the night off and the day off today, so he's just responded well to treatment. So until we can test that tomorrow, we'll have a better picture then.
Is it a case of him needing to get through tomorrow's run and then you make the call, or is that how it go?
More than likely, yeah. Just see how he's responded to the last 24 hours of treatment.
How have Anton and David trained?
Yeah, really well. Like I sort of alluded to yesterday, everyone's been preparing. We haven't picked a team in Germany or early here to train. Everyone's trained in all positions, so they have both trained really well as also.
Do you expect him to take part in training tomorrow?
Again, we'll have to see how he wakes up in the morning. He'll have an assessment early before that to just see where he's at and then go from there, I guess.
Scott, on the other side, you have the same uncertainty about Joe Dante. How do you adapt to that?
Sorry.
Joe Dante, the
Yeah.
number 12?
Yeah.
He's uncertain, just like Jordan.
Geez, I heard he was definitely out. I hope he's definitely out. Yeah, a very important player for them. Brings a lot of power to their game. They structure a lot of their go for ball off him, so we're prepared that he's going to play until the team's named, and then we'll plan accordingly from there.
Is it an advantage or disadvantage to face France for the opening game for you? Advantage or disadvantage?
Oh, neither. It's just an outstanding opportunity. One of the best teams in the world. They're the host nation. We've had, I think it's going to be a record-breaking game in terms of Rugby World Cup games. Opposition we've played against them will be 8, the most. So that's something we're really looking forward to. So not a disadvantage or advantage at all. We're just looking at the occasion and getting excited about that.
The All Blacks seem to have a quite clinical, analytical approach of the game, the build-up of the game. But after Twickenham, would you use emotion, pride in the build-up of that game against France?
Yeah, it's a good question. From my knowledge of All Black teams, when they lose, they hurt. No matter who they play, when they lose, they hurt a lot, and they don't like losing, and they want to rectify that. So that'll be our motivation first and foremost, I guess. We want to perform a lot better than what we did, and that's what we've been building towards. And then France just adds to that motivation in terms of being the host nation and a tier 1 team and one of our great opponents. So that all combines to the motivation that's been built.
If they're hurt, they want to commit more. If they're hurt, they want to commit more against in the game.
Yeah, their ears open. The players' ears open. They seek more feedback, and they don't want to let the jersey down again. So they work a little bit harder, and they do a little bit more homework and make sure that they get things right.
How does this signal of extra commitment needed goes with the no cards?
Yeah, exactly. So that's a big piece that we have talked about this week, is our execution in those pressure moments that we have to get right. We have to not bring the officiating into it. We can control what we do and make sure that we are world class in executing those skills, and like I say, not bringing the officiating into it. It's when we're poor or get slack or we're not focused enough that little things happen, and that brings the TMOs and the referees and what have you into the game. So we want to eliminate that.
Scott, have you had a chance to, I think you hadn't heard much about it yesterday, but catch up on Bastian Charleroi controversy in the French camp?
That was the first time I learnt of it yesterday. I understand it's a bit of news at home. It's not something that we have been together as a team, or that I know the players have talked about at all. We haven't talked about it as coaches. That's France's decision, and it's one they control, and we can't control who they pick, so it's not something we're terribly worried about. Yeah.
From a I guess, broader picture, does that sort of thing, like, do you think that distracts the team, or do you think it might bring them closer together?
Are you talking about France?
In terms of how it might impact France,
I don't know. I really don't know. It's not something we're focusing on, it's up to them how they use their players and how they build their own motivation.
Scott, last year a couple of times at Ellis Park and East Hamilton after the loss in Christchurch, this team summoned big wins in response to defeats. Do you get a similar sense that something's building like that this week?
Like I said, the players' ears have been open a lot more. They've searched a lot deeper in terms of their execution and their understanding of what they have to do, and that's first and foremost, regardless of the opposition, and they want to build to a level that they want to play at and how they want to execute and what they put into the jersey. The legacy of the jersey, and it's their time to wear it, it means a great deal to the players, and they don't want to let that down, so that's how they prepare now.
Do you have to embrace the occasion of a World Cup opener against the hosts? Do you use that energy in a positive way?
Absolutely, in a positive way, like I've mentioned a few times already today. That is part of it. The sense of the occasion, Stade de France sold out 80,000 people. We've played there 2 years ago. It was a very similar atmosphere. It's something the players do enjoy. They enjoy the buzz, and we've encouraged them to soak that up, but be very clear in what they have to do and how they're prepared, and be confident in that.
Is it easy enough to not think too big a picture at this time of the tournament? You know, obviously this result will have ramifications for when you finish in this pool, but how do you ensure the group doesn't think too big a picture at the moment?
Yep, spot on. So it's just day by day and staying in the moment and just one game at a time. That's how we have to, that's how we've wanted to approach this World Cup, and that's how we have to. Exactly that, just one game at a time.
Would it be right in assuming you haven't rushed off and got Livia Munga's story and sellotape away from the
You'd be dead right. Yeah, no, like I said yesterday, that's not something that we'll focus on.
Through kind of parts of this year, you've had various All Blacks greats in camp doing stuff with the guys. Have you got anyone with you this week, or will you before the test on Friday?
I think there's one sitting down the back there, isn't there?
Coming to camp?
No, I think he's got a job to do. He's trying to hide too. It's not something that we've had this week, but it will be. There's a few players that are over here on different assignments who will come in and pop in that have been visiting us throughout the year. So they've been a fantastic presence in our camp for all, and it's something I know that our leaders have really gained a lot of value out of, and so for those guys coming in will be really timely throughout the tournament.
I think you've mentioned with those players coming in, they've shared with you about the pressures of home World Cups. So, you know, what are France going to do?
I haven't been involved in a home World Cup, but listening to Richie McCaw and Dan Carter talk about it, there's a huge weight of expectation, and it's not something you can escape. It's every day, it's around you, the people that you see, it's in the newspapers, it's on the radio, it's in the billboards, it's everywhere, and it can be consuming. They talked about how to deal with that, but I'm not going to share that. France will have their own ways of how they deal with that, and you know, and I'm sure the last few years with their increase in their play, they will have understood how to deal with pressure.
Being an all-black team in the World Cup, though, do you feel a similar weight of expectation?
I think it's always there. That never goes away, no matter where you are. World Cup, home and away games. I know we definitely felt that in Japan as well, in 19. So yeah, that never goes away.
Just back on the batting and shoulders, I understand you obviously can be very good, but the French president showed up at their training facility, told them, like, hey, how would you feel if the Prime Minister showed up?
Yeah, it's normally after the game to say well done. However, I talked to Leon Coltman, who's playing here, and he said, you know, it can be really interesting the way they do things here. The coach will pick a team, and the owner or the president will come and say, no, I don't want that team, this is the team you're going to pick. So it's just, I guess they're used to it here. It's something that happens in all forms of play, so that I guess they'll be used to it maybe.
So Mark Robinson's not picking teams?
Not that I know of, yeah. I'm not a selector. Yep.
Is France's attack easy to analyse, or do you think that they will bring something different than what they have showed? Yeah,
no, not easy to analyse. I really like Eddie Jones's comments, not particularly about New Zealand, but the way he talks about the people and the country and how they express themselves. And we've always known French rugby teams to be full of flair. Now they've just it seems like a little bit of structure around that flair, and it's made them a very dangerous side. They have threats all across the park because of that flair, and now they're putting the ball into space and utilising their skills. So it's not easy to analyse. However, we just have focused on what we can do and make sure that we're in the right places.
Are you fizzing to get to Paris for?
Pardon?
Are you fizzing to get to Paris?
Oh, yeah, it's very similar to the players. So because of our last performance, then we had the time in Germany, and it just seems like we've had a really long build-up. It's been thorough and it's been really good, and we've had to almost hold the players back a little bit. And they've really wanted to go, and that, they can't. They'll burn themselves out. So we've had to hold them back, and we've had to show, I guess, consistent emotion around. We're confident in our preparation, but we're also excited. But we just can't show them that we're overexcited, But you can't wait to get on the train. Thank you.